Welcome back, everybody. Matt and Bat here. Hope you're doing well. So we got a new Christopher Nolan movie here, finally. Been about 3 years since we got the last Christopher Nolan movie, Tenet, in 2020. But now we got a new one, Oppenheimer. This movie deals with Robert Oppenheimer, the guy who created the atomic bomb. Boom! I was looking forward to this. You got one of his number one men in this movie, Killian Murphy, who he's been working with since Batman Begins. They've done almost most of the projects, I think, other than for Interstellar and Tenet. Killian Murphy has been in a Nolan film. He's like a lucky penny, other than for Michael Caine. So I was looking forward to it. You got a great cast. Emily Blunt, Matt Damon, Florence Pugh, and I think all of Hollywood is in this movie. I am a huge Christopher Nolan fan, if you haven't known that by now. I did do a ranking of the Nolan films, but something happened in that video and I wasn't able to put it up. I might do a ranking later after I see Oppenheimer again down the road. Maybe before the end of the year. But he is one of my favorite directors, in my top 4 favorite directors. I've been a fan of his. He is a director that knows he is he is Spielberg. He is the new Spielberg. A guy who commits, a guy who has rejuvenized the way of filmmaking. Where you go see a Nolan film and you are in awe of his work. You are wondering, how did he do that? He is a director that still does practical stuff. Practical filmmaking. He freaking literally had a real bomb, recreated a nuclear explosion without CGI. Hello? This guy, you go back to Inception, Interstellar, he has defined the word smart filmmaking. Smart blockbuster filmmaking. Even this movie, Oppenheimer, it is a smart film. He's a scientist. Yeah. He knows how to make a movie. You go see Inception in the summer of 2010. That coined the phrase smart blockbuster. You look at Interstellar. You look at even a movie like Dunkirk. Great. Tenet, my least favorite Nolan film, but I'm still in awe of the action scenes in that movie. How he did those practically. It's just mind blowing. And he is one of the top directors. And now he has proven himself making a biofilm on the man who created the atomic bomb. Positives. Cillian Murphy as Robert Oppenheimer. This is a guy who has finally gotten his... This is the actor that has finally got to pay, after paying his dues for so many years, playing more supporting or just being considered a character actor. Other than maybe for like 28 Days Later, where he starred in that movie. He has been known as a character actor. He hasn't been the main actor in a movie in over 20-something years. And now, he is the star of Oppenheimer. He brings so much to this role. His range, his dynamic, his chemistry with like Matt Damon, his psychological aspects, dealing with the aftermath of the bombing of Hiroshima, is mesmerizing. The first act, him being a scientist, trying to figure all this out, you believe it. You believe this guy is a scientist. You don't ever go, no, I don't see him. No. Yes, you do. He brings a lot of weight to the role, and this role that required the weight of someone like a Killian Murphy. He is just mesmerizing on screen. The first act actually always reminded me of the movie A Beautiful Mind, where John Nash, who was played by Russell Crowe, dealing with all the science behind it and figuring things out. Also a Universal movie. So Killian Murphy is definitely gives an Oscar-worthy performance. And it might be his year finally. Actor Robert Downey Jr. I'm one of those people that will say, since Robert Downey Jr. has played Iron Man, I have always seen Iron Man in every single other role that Robert Downey Jr. has played. It's almost like the Johnny Depp effect of, after Johnny Depp played Jack Sparrow, he started playing the same character over and over again and acting the same way as Jack Sparrow. And that was Robert Downey Jr. with so many other roles outside of Iron Man. Until now. People, I won't even admit to you, in the first 5 minutes of seeing Robert Downey Jr. in this movie, I did not see Robert Downey Jr. in this movie. I didn't even realize that was Robert Downey Jr. for the first 5 minutes that he's on screen. I was memorized by his performance. I am shocked how good Robert Downey Jr. is in this movie. I am astounded by his performance. And it's all him, most of it just sitting down talking to someone. That's it. And he is unbelievable. I mean, it is a performance of performances that he will be nominated for Best Supporting Actor. And as of right now, he will win. He will win. And then we got Emily Blunt. And I almost put Emily Blunt in the negatives. Not because of her performance or her as an actor. For the first 2 acts of this movie, you barely see Emily Blunt. And I was like, why would you get an actress as great as Emily Blunt and not use her? But then we get to the third act. Now, I'm not saying that when we are introduced to her, and we knew a little bit of her in the first act, she's not a likable character at all. And I mean at all. I'm like, this character is really kind of a piece of shit. What did Oppenheimer see in this woman? But when we get to that third act and the rest of the movie, the last hour of that movie, oh my. That's when you see Emily Blunt give a tour de force performance. I'm watching her on screen going, oh my god. Where were you in the first 2 acts of the movie? it is, like I said, between Robert Downey Jr. and Emily Blunt, especially in the third act, you're just going, you're mesmerized. You are so captivated by these performances that at a 3-hour movie, that the third act of this movie really pushes it. Like, boom! And you're like, normally by the third act of the movie you might start to feel a little bit, especially in a 3-hour movie. But here, I would say the third act of this movie is the best act of this film. I mean, it is an unbelievable third act. And Emily Blunt is one of those major contributors. Matt Damon, one of my favorite actors, Matt Damon. I like him in this role. He plays a military guy, general, that tips Oppenheimer to create the atomic bomb. I like him. He's the one that actually brings a little bit of the humor to the film. I like his dynamic with Killian Murphy. He's another one that has worked with Nolan before on Interstellar. In fact, fun fact of the day, people, Christopher Nolan wanted Matt Damon to play Harvey Dent, Two-Face, in The Dark Knight. That was Christopher Nolan's first pick, was Matt Damon. But for some reason, Matt Damon had other commitments. So they went with Aaron Eckhart. But no, Nolan has wanted to work with Matt Damon for a while. And obviously they worked a little bit in Interstellar, but here they get to have him throughout the entire movie. And Matt Damon gives a great performance also. Other actor is Josh Hartnett. There's an actor, you go, who? Yeah, the teen heartthrob of the late 90s, early 2000s shows up in this movie. And I thought he was going to have a small role. He's in a good chunk of this movie. And he actually, I think, gives a very underrated performance. He's very good in the movie, too. So I really liked his performance in the movie. Like I said before, this movie invited everybody in Hollywood in this movie. This ensemble cast is excellent. And not only that, what I like about it is it's not like the movie last year, Amsterdam, where that was a movie that had tons of actors show up in that movie too. And it felt like they were just there. They're like, hey, what famous person can we get to put in this movie? That's how that movie felt. Oppenheimer is not like that. Every actor that shows up in this movie, even if it's for only one scene, dominates that scene. Kenneth Branagh only has a couple scenes. He's excellent when he's in there. An actor from The Dark Knight shows up in this movie. Excellent when he's on screen. Rami Malek shows up in this movie. Excellent on screen. Another actor from the Dark Knight trilogy shows up in this movie for one scene. Phenomenal. Like I said, this is a movie that is filled with actors. Bernard from the Santa Claus and 10 Things I Hate About You. He's in this movie throughout the movie. He's excellent in every scene that he is in. There is not an actor who shows up in Dane DeHaan is very good when he's on screen. There is not an actor in this movie that shows up even for one scene and does a bad job. And not only that, but you believe that character every second in the movie. You believe that actor is that character. Not an actor just coming in for funsies. Hey, I'm in a Christopher Nolan movie. Haha. No. They are dead serious. They come to play, and play they do. The score for this movie. One of the things with Nolan films is the score is its own character. And I said, now there's a movie like Tenet where the score overshadows the performances where you can't even hear the dialogue sometimes. But here the score is another character. And I did, when you watch that trailer and you hear that almost like thumping sound, it almost sounded like railroad, like a train going down the railroad tracks. And that's what I thought it was. But when you watch the movie, you realize, no. It's people stomping on the ground. And then the other sound is when they're loading the bomb into the truck. And it's in the wooden boxes. And the chains that keep the box together, the chains are hitting the wood. And that's what's making that sound, like that thumping sound. And I was like, that is a genius, creative idea. And the music in this movie is just perfect. Perfect. And down to the sound design. Once again, another thing that Nolan does well with Interstellar had great sound design. Oppenheimer has excellent sound design. The sounds that they use were when they look into the stars and see the space and stars exploding in the galaxy and all the little other mechanisms when putting the bomb together. The sound design is impeccable. Cinematography. I love how this movie is in color, but also in black and white. A lot of the black and white stuff deal with Robert Downey Jr.'s character, which is also very smart as a filmmaker. When you look at Oppenheimer's, I mean, not when you look at Robert Downey Jr.'s character. So I love the cinematography. Great shots, great looking film. I think this was done by Hoyt Van, I forget his last name, but he did Tenet. He did the cinematography for Dunkirk also. Great cinematography. The pacing for a 3-hour movie, I only felt it a tiny bit in the second act. Weirdly enough, when they were actually going to do the Trinity test, that's when the only time in the movie that I kind of got a little like, okay, let's move it on here, which is odd because this is like the most important part of the movie, the testing of the bomb. But when we get to that third act, though, oh my god! I mean, it's heavy, it's powerful performances. It is the editing, rapid editing that like, whoa! The back and forth between them interrogating Robert Downey Jr. in court, and then them interrogating Oppenheimer in another place, in a small room, and that's in color, where Downey Jr. is in black and white. I mean, it is the editing and the layering of the story, and the non-linear storytelling also contributes to the editing. And that's something a lot of Nolan movies have, the non-linear, from Memento to The Prestige to even the first act in Batman Begins to Dunkirk. A lot of his movies have non-linear storytelling. And this movie is all over. And that's one thing, you gotta watch this movie, you gotta focus. Focus. Non-linear. And if you miss what's going on, you're like, oh, what's going on? And they don't give little dates, they don't tell you what time period. Nolan expects you to watch his damn movie and pay attention. So the editing is just great. And like I said, Nolan has done himself. This is a guy who was supposed to do a Howard Hughes movie back in the early 2000s with Jim Carrey playing Howard Hughes. Martin Scorsese and Leonardo DiCaprio beat him to the punch. We can look at that as a good thing, because if Nolan went on to do Howard Hughes, he would have never made the Batman films, because they were at the same time. So, but when you watch Oppenheimer, you definitely see possibly what could have been of that Howard Hughes movie. There's definitely an homage to Howard Hughes in this movie. Just like in most Nolan movies, there's an homage to Howard Hughes. But Nolan has done it again. He has made a movie that you are just in awe by the performances, the acting, the cinematography, the score, the sound design, the direction. It is just... And yeah, there are moments in this movie that are generally horrifying. There's a scene where Oppenheimer is, after the bomb has gone off, and he's in Los Alamos still, and he's having like this town meeting or whatever, and people are cheering, people are happy, yeah, go America, yeah, US, you don't mess with us. But Oppenheimer, we get into the mind of Oppenheimer, the psychological moment of Oppenheimer, and he is distraught. He's not hearing the cheers, he's hearing the screams of the people in Japan. He's seeing visions of people's skin falling off. People barfing from the radiation. People, like actual, like, burnt corpses he's stepping on. It is a very powerful scene. And it just shows you in the mind of Oppenheimer. He's not happy, he's not cheering. He realized what he's done is awful. He's killed thousands and thousands of people. Mostly um, normal people. People that didn't deserve this at all. Regular, people just going about their day. And he's just realizing the horror of that. And the way that Nolan put that scene together, I was just like, that is a genius filmmaker. Other filmmakers would have shown the bomb being dropped on Hiroshima, the aftermath and devastation. But no, Nolan said, no, we're not here to glorify that. We're here for Oppenheimer. We're here to be in the mind of Oppenheimer and what he's actually going through. And I thought, once again, a brilliant decision by Nolan. Some of my negatives. Florence Hughes' character. I think Florence Hughes did a great job when she's on screen, but like a lot of Nolan films, he doesn't focus on the female characters. I think other than for Rebecca Hall in The Prestige, and Murph, the younger Murph, and the older Murph in Interstellar, that is the only time he really focuses on female characters in his movies. That this is a movie. I thought this reminded me a lot of A Beautiful Mind in moments, but at least in A Beautiful Mind, you have that female character, that wife, that girlfriend, to be that support, to have her own journey, her own character. That's why, like, Jennifer Connelly won the Academy Award for A Beautiful Mind. Or you go back to, like, Cinderella Man with Renee Zellweger and Russell Crowe. And I think this movie needed that female character, that prominent female character. Now, and my point is, we don't get enough of the Florence Pugh character. I think it was Jean. This is a girl that Oppenheimer apparently was really the love of his life. They kept going on and off. And if it wasn't for a documentary I saw on Sunday on NBC that kind of went into that relationship, I would have been like, what was the point of putting Florence Pugh in this movie at all? And I think that could have really developed that character, that in real life when she commits suicide, that would have been more impactful. But in the movie it's not. We didn't spend enough time with her. And I think that's the same thing with Emily Blunt. Until we get to the third act, Emily Blunt really isn't in the movie much. Even though she's Oppenheimer's wife. And I think that's one of the main issues, that this movie needed a female character. Prominent. Other than that, I think this is a phenomenal movie. I would give this a 4 point. I would give this a 5 out of 5. Yes, we still need a strong female character, but still Emily Blunt delivers in that third act perfectly. And when we do see Florence Pugh, she does give a really good performance. I'm wondering if they just had to cut some of her scenes, because this is already a 3-hour movie. Maybe we'll get some more scenes in a director's cut or something. But I think this is a phenomenal film, phenomenal performances, phenomenal directing from Nolan, a great biofilm overall, and yeah, just a great adaptation of the book that it's based on. So when it comes to the Academy Awards, don't be surprised if Oppenheimer gets a ton of nominations. Well, let me know what you thought of Oppenheimer. Did you see it? Did you like the movie? Did you not like the movie? Let me know in the comments below. Matt the Bat here.